And we are live. Welcome to the Ricky Remedy stream. Barely made it. Let me pop out the chat. Right. What's up? What's up? So, almost didn't do the stream for the dumbest reason ever. And the dumbest reason ever being that my mouse, which is not very cheap, I think it was like 50 bucks, 60 bucks for this thing. It's a Razer X Hyperspeed. Now, I've dropped this thing loads of times, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is the reason why. But yeah, batteries are fine. You know, I have these cool little rechargeable batteries, and they work perfectly fine in this replacement here. So it's definitely not the batteries that are the problem. I'm pretty sure that this thing is just messed up, which is a shame. But I didn't want to, go all the way to Best Buy and go buy a new one. And then have this stream start late because I do have stuff I got to do later. So, I don't want to be backed up. But it worked out. It all worked out. Thank the Lord. So yeah, welcome to the Ricky Remedy stream. We got a cool little discussion for you guys today. Just gonna, let it pile in. But yeah, so as always, this is my website. Go check out my music, everything I've released within the past year. We'll talk a little bit about the music that's coming up. I'm very excited. I'll actually show you some of the stuff that's coming out. The Remedy kit, of course, you already know. I may or may not be starting a new Remedy kit for next year. 23 kit, or I guess you could say volume 5. Gonna try to figure out how I can make that happen. Patreon just dropped the drum loop kit today, and then the one-shot kit will be up in a couple days. So I apologize for the insane delay on both of those months, for month 3 and 4. I've really been I haven't had too much time to do anything, and it's really hard to kind of just find the time to just sit down, and I'm telling you, like, it's pretty crazy. Just time management is just really not my thing. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, it's up there, and then in a couple days we'll have a cool one shot. Cool, more synths, more effects, maybe a couple more snares in month 4, and then month 5 will be coming out in a few weeks. So 3 kits within a span of a few days. Live stream every Tuesday and Thursday. It seems like at 4:15 now at this point, because I've started my last 4 streams at 4:15. What up, Xerxes? Discord, you can go to ricky-remedy.com/discord and join into my Discord server, which has a lot of cool like-minded individuals. Hello, Gavna. Hello, Bravna. And yeah, I got my yerba. What's up, Zach? Yeah, we got some people in here. What's up? And yeah, so go into my Discord, lots of like-minded individuals, lots of cool people. There's a voice chat that Rare will be in every stream. Just, giving commentary. What up, Marco? What up? How's everybody doing? Yeah, it's crazy. I almost didn't do the stream today, but we're here. But we're here. Yeah, no, it's literally for the dumbest reason. This mouse here, man, just it's a good mouse too, man. I'm really upset that it's not working. So yeah. And then yeah, that's just about it. So today we're having a nice little discussion. Gonna kick some game as well, but I also want to kind of get some what kind of mouse was it? It was a Razer Basilisk X Hyperspeed. It is it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not like the super crazy ones that they have, but it's up there for sure. But yeah, I've just dropped it a load of times, and I've had it for about, I don't know, maybe a year and a half now, maybe actually longer. And yeah, it's I just dropped it so many times, so I'm pretty sure that's the reason why, because it's not the battery that's the problem. But yeah, shout out to everybody that's in here. We're gonna have a really cool discussion today. Really kick some game. Crack open the yearbook, get started. Artificial Sky, what's up, man? Bat Hat, goat. I have a Basculus Ultimate. I had it for about a year, and I'm planning on moving up to the V3 Pro. Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna, because I as much as I want to just go get a cheap one, you know, I don't know. I'm become spoiled with it now, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, so before we get started with this discussion, I want to say that I'm very excited that the EP that I will be putting out in December is about 85 to 90% done. The unfortunate side of this music, the unfortunate side of it is that the music is not necessarily what you expect from Ricky Remedy. And usually people are like, bring back the trap, bring back the future bass, bring back this. Well, if I'm being completely honest, what I like the most about this EP and why it's actually very special and why I'm very excited about it. Sometimes when I release music, I'm not super excited about it, if I'm being completely honest. But the reason why today I'm very excited is because this is a very cohesive, very it just has its own sound going on, and I'm here to preview it for you guys. I just got to make sure I download it first. I get nervous when I release stuff. Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, it all makes sense. Might as well. I don't know why it's as well, but yeah. Go ahead and download this. And then I think that's about it. Okay, cool. So I already have it here ready to go. So no, that's not, and then who that's not either. So Aswell, right? Okay, cool. So the cool thing about the very interesting thing about this EP is that it's with my artist Zay. Me and him have been working together for a really long time, probably almost about 5 years now. He's extremely talented, and you know, we actually have a song out. It's called Body Bag. It's with Smoke Perp. It's also Left Off. We have that song together as well. But there's something about this EP that really embodies like both of our sounds. He's really prominent in the R&B type of vibe. You know, he raps as well, but he's just got a really dope like R&B sound. I like to think of it as a hybrid, and so he, you know, usually he'll just go that route, like just make a rap song or make a rap or like some R&B, but never really move over to the dance music side of things. Just because it's like, you know, we just want to preserve what he's really the best at, you know. But there's something about all these songs here, because we have a lot of songs together. But this is something that I really believe in here. So I might have played a lot of these already for you guys, but I'll just go ahead and run through really quickly with this one. This will be track 1. Volume up for you.
You know what I'm thinking of. I know all you want is love. I can tell the hand that got you loose. Tell me, baby, what you tryna do? Tell me, baby, what you tryna do? Tell me, baby, what you tryna do? What you tryna do? First you got a man with a nigga ain't nothing like me. No. Come slide to the crib, yeah, you know we got it poppin'. Got them other girls out there to see it poppin'. Couple bottles in, I can barely keep it balanced. The girl leave juice for me, probably ain't jealous.
All right, cool. So track 1. All right, this is track 2. Still has to be mixed.
You know what's going down when I hit your line. Shit, we do this all the time. Mine is what we mine. 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 You know you mine, you know you mine. Yeah, I love the way you ride. Yeah, I love the way you ride it, baby. You got me addicted, so it's hard to spend my time away from you. It's hard to spend my time away. Won't you come and ride it? Run that bike, run that bike. Yeah, you fine like fine wine. With you, I ain't wasting no time.
All right, track 3. Afro beats.
I keep the cash on me. I can't even focus on the sex on me. Shawty make an earthquake when she throw that ass on me. I got you out the bank, yeah, I got a bag on me. Let this money make it dance. What she do with no hands? She got me like, oh my, oh my, oh.
Track 4, which you guys have heard this one on my Instagram. Shout out Gorilla Flicks.
When you come around, I can feel my face. I don't know nobody else that can take your place. Every time you come around, you make me feel away. Ay. When you come around, I can feel my face. I don't know nobody else that can take your place. You ain't gotta worry about nobody else. I said, you ain't gotta worry about nobody else. 'Cause I'll take my time to make it simple. You've been on my mind, can't seem to let it go. Is you on my side? I just gotta know. 'Cause I'll take my time, that's the way it gotta go.
And then final track, track 5, with drama. Long overdue track, by the way.
I don't know why I get turned up, my blood boil. Ain't no sense in fucking with us, your plans for you. Had enough for you, suck your butts, you're too greedy. Got a bitch that's rolling my blunts, you're too needy. Playing big on 100 miles, with a nigga for $100. 2 blunts in a row, though. You should've listened to what I told you. Really mind of something that you ain't even put in work for. I made it straight to the top of the house, and my nigga, we came all the way from the first floor. I don't know what this shit mean to me.
Everything ain't what it seems to be. Bottle after bottle, model after model, coming through to the VIP. I know what you looking for, I can give you all that and more. I've been ballin' on these niggas like I'm 2-3, no need to check the score. Ever since I got a little money in my pocket, I don't know what you checking for. I know it's on your mind, and you know it's just so much. What you tryna do? I know that you want me to sign up in a coupe. Like Tupac, no nigga got the juice. Got the room too high, got a water in the pool. I've been on the champagne.
So yeah, 5 tracks. Yeah, some tracks did get cut. So the reason why these other tracks got cut, the other tracks were very aggressive rap, like hard trap type shit. And the reason for that I had to cut those is because those would probably work a little more as like singles or just kind of stuff to put out, or even like a deluxe. Now the thing about these 5 tracks is that they all have some cohesiveness where they all kind of just have this very like floaty R&B chill kind of vibe, and we're kind of entering the winter time with this EP, you know what I mean? And I think that I kind of wanted to just like really embody the like R&B like Zay sound and then my own sound with my production, because if you really listen from the very first track to the very last track all the way through, which another awesome thing that I'm going to do with these tracks is I'm going to have them all transition into each other very seamlessly. So it's almost kind of like a mixtape. So that will be out in December. But don't worry, there's 2 more singles that I'm putting out. One of which is a really Ricky Remedy style sound. It's called Elevate. Shout out to Rare for the name. It's a very Ricky Remedy future bass type style. And then Levitation, probably, I don't know. I'm going to let Zaya handle that name. And then some hard, probably even like, you know, some real trap, you know. So I got 2 singles and an EP coming out. So about 7 songs coming out this year. Can we get Dodging on the Patreon? Yeah, we can do that. I'll put that up today. So, on to the discussion. Which, before I get to it, I'm sure you guys have been part of the news, but your boy has gone full reggaeton Latin. That's it. I'm quitting every other style of music. No, I'm just kidding. But I really am gonna like start like going a little harder on it. But yeah, 55.2k views on what was potentially just a joke, but became one of my most viral pieces of work, which I'm sure some of you guys may have already seen, but let's watch. Very funny. Yeah, and so it's actually being pushed once again right now through the algorithm. It actually kind of slowed down a bit a couple days ago, and then literally just today it started picking up. It was at about 40. It stopped at like maybe like about like 45k, and then just this morning it started pushing out. So I basically gained another 10k views. So it's, I mean, as you guys can see, it's very unfortunate that like all my other posts are pretty much just averaging at about 2 to 3k. You know, we got 2k here, 2k, 3k here, 2k, and it's pretty unfortunate just simply because did you run any paid promo? I run absolutely $0 on all of my posts, just because it doesn't work as effectively as people might think. So yeah, $0 on every single one of my posts that you guys see. I have a few here that like are at like almost 10k. You know, got 9 here, got 9 here, got 9 here. But yeah, 9 here. But for the most part, you know, I'm over. You know, I just average at about like 2 to 3k. Which it's like, you know, it's pretty unfortunate because I do truly believe that a lot of these have the viral potential that this one does. But you know, I guess people really want to see more Latin style things from me. I guess because actually my last viral post, or semi-viral, I guess you can say, which has 27k, which is about half of what is over here, is also Latin. Also a Latin, you know, reggaeton shit. Watch me turn the Apple iPhone ringtone into a Bad Bunny song. Which I thought this was very creative, for sure. By the way, I live in Miami, so I hear old reggaeton all the time. Promote the CCP and you'll blow up on TikTok. What is the CCP? this is such a vibe, bro. I love that one, bro. That one I can vibe to for sure. But yeah, actually, my next post today will also be a reggaeton track, which is actually a remix of the new Rihanna song that she hasn't, which will actually be a great segue into my discussion today. All right, so that's enough about me. Let's get into today's topic. And you guys, if you want, tap in, talk, make comments, ask questions. I want these Tuesdays to be more interactive, because Thursdays are already interactive just by me giving feedback and everybody kind of like, listening to these songs. But I definitely want Tuesday to be just as interactive as well. So if you came in here, you haven't already liked the video, and let's get started on today's discussion. So on my thumbnail, I don't know, I'm not sure, I didn't really see it, but pop up, but top 3 record labels. I saw this image, which is very interesting to me. Let's see if we can make that a little bigger. To open image tab. There we go. Perfect. Make sure that you can see the whole thing. Okay, cool. So the music industry is run pretty much just by 3 major labels. And as you can see, it's right here. We have chat looks like I'm blocking a little bit, but basically the blue is Warner Music Group, red is Sony, and yellow is Universal, which Universal is pretty much winning out of everybody. And then independent labels, which is actually pretty good that, independent labels are not like completely like, this small little section here. But the music industry is really a lot more, I guess you can say puppeted, or what's a good word? Like it's really being handled by, the puppeteers a little more than people, really think. And it's at the end of the day, it's like it's the same thing with TV shows. It's the same thing with things like Netflix and the things like that run the streaming and all that stuff. So I'm trying to find a good way to really like begin all this, because there's like a whole like thing that I gotta kind of like dissect here. So the reason why I'm bringing up record labels here is because record labels are basically the front lines of how we listen to music and how we digest music, and how basically these days we're digesting music through TikTok and Spotify. Of course, Spotify is kind of like the landing the landing page, but the TikTok is more of like just the discovery. So there's a lot of ways that you can leverage yourself as an artist, and I'd say that one of the ways for sure in the independent space is just basically utilizing the third-party PR and third-party resources that a lot of these bigger labels already actually sometimes go to, but because they have just so much money that they're able to have in-house. They're able to have a lot of in-house stuff going on. What's up, Ricky? Sorry I'm late to the stream. Oh, you're absolutely good, man. We actually just got started on today's discussion. So only about 30% of the time, you have the ability to gain some type of gain really a type of revenue, publicity, 30% of the time, and that's through independent. And independent labels are not really a horrible way to go, but you're really battling against this other, what's the math here, the other 69% of these bigger, huge labels that just pretty much just have disposable money. So I usually like to advocate that, and this is the thing, there's so many artists out here, and like I think Russ is a good example of somebody, which is funny, people call me Russ all the time, but Russ is a good example of somebody that's constantly advocating like, just be independent, just stay independent, fuck these labels, or I am gonna have to disagree with that and say you just need to go in the way that you have the most leverage, or in the ways that you understand like how these things operate. So if you want to go independent, by all means, go ahead. Like if you have the resources to do that, if you have money, or if you got lucky, because that's the thing, is that some artists, unfortunately, a lot of the time just get lucky. You know, artists really just get like the ones that are independent and are able to go this third party route, where basically you're doing all this exact same things that the major labels can do, but it's because you can afford it. You can afford yourself, okay, cool, I have a viral album, or an album that basically has received 1 million plays on each song. If you do the math, let's say, you know, you do like 1 million plays on a 12. So if it's a 12 track album, you get like maybe 12 million plays, 12 million. So like you get like what, like $3,000, $4,000 like per million, like on Spotify, or like on, I think it's less than that. I think it's like 2,000, but let's just assume that it's through like all streaming platforms. Let's say like Apple Music and YouTube. So I'll probably put about like 4,000. So let's say $4,000 times 12 million. That's only $50,000. So streaming is really actually not even a good way of funding yourself as an artist. So, and this is only the independent. I'm only talking really right now about the independent label space, where independent labels, sometimes they do have pretty decent budgets, you know, from having, you know, artists that might have done more than 1 million streams. Maybe they have a single that did like 15 million streams, 20 million streams, which is about, you know, upwards of $60,000, $80,000, which is good for one song. So record labels, you know, in the independent space, or they have investors. You know, sometimes these independent labels will have investors. They might actually even be, it's funny that they're independent, but they're owned by a much larger entity that's not necessarily part of Warner, Sony, or Universal. So because they have this budget, they're able to pretty much, and it's on a much smaller scale, basically replicate what these larger labels are already doing. But just think about how pales it is in comparison to what these bigger labels can accomplish with just a simple $1 million budget for one artist. And $1 million budget is like nothing for some of these huge artists that you guys are seeing. The competition is actually insane. So you can absolutely go the independent label route, the independent or just free of a label route, if you have been given the opportunity out of nowhere, where like something might have gone viral or something might have just went crazy. Do you like how streaming services affected the music industry compared to before, when you're supposed to actually buy the physical copy in order to listen to your favorite artist? Do I like it? Not really, but have we pretty much gone past the point of no return? Yeah, unfortunately. You know, because it's the exact same thing when it comes to movies. People don't go out. What up, Goon Squad? People don't go out to Blockbuster, and people don't go out to these movie stores and buy the physical movies anymore. Like, we don't buy DVDs or videotapes anymore. We don't, you know, and even then, like, if you're able to download from like YouTube or something, or download something from like Netflix, like most of the time people would just rather stream it. So at that point, you know, that's how entertainment in general is consumed now. And it's like, once you give people this type of access, they don't want to go back. You know, because people are just they're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, just by nature. If streams and record sales aren't the biggest moneymaker, where do labels get most of their income from? Oh, well, for one, a lot of these record labels have been around for decades. So they're for one, radio royalties through like radio play, through sync licensing. That's already one thing, but like you have to think about the amount of just commercial sales, just the amount of time that they've accumulated time, like just through like from the 80s, 70s, all the way up until now, of all these big huge records that are on labels like Sony, Warner, Universal that are still getting synced in movies, games, commercials. These songs, giant songs like let's say Michael Jackson, or like let's just say, just these huge artists that are still generating an insane amount of revenue for these labels. So it's like you have to think about the accumulated like wealth, I guess you can say, from how much music these people own. So because they were in a time where they were making money off of record sales, because that's really what it is. Commercials, okay, tours. Now here's the thing, that's that's a little more subjective to the artist that is signing to the record label, which I discussed this in a couple streams ago, where I was in a room with an artist that was signing to Atlantic Records, a pretty major record label, and he did the full 360. If I believe he did they took his merch. They basically took a large percent of his merch. Oh, hold on, we're connected. Okay, they basically took a large percent of his merch. They took a large percentage of his tour, like basically whatever he makes off of shows. It took a large percentage of just any outside revenue that isn't just through streaming or through record sales, and it's insane. And that's the thing, is that usually when you give that up, you have more negotiating power for your advance or for how you want. Come on, man, what's going on? Sorry, guys, I don't know. We're having some difficulties here. Hold on, guys. Just waiting for my internet to stabilize a bit. All right. All right. We're good now. We're good. We're good. We're good. All right. We're good. Sorry. I don't know. Yo, shit's crazy. All right. We're back. Fuck it. If they throttle my internet, fuck it. The YouTube has some type of like word and whatever, like Atlantic was sending bruh, they have some type of word recognition or something. They know what's going on this side, but fuck it. There's information out here on it, so I don't think it's too secretive, but basically, yeah, I mean, so at the end of the day, a lot of these major record labels, they have an insanely large roster. Like they have sometimes, like as much as they might put on their website what their roster's like, that's still not their full roster. There's still people that they have signed that they haven't fully put in the public eye yet, that they're making money off of, or they have some type of distribution deal, and that doesn't necessarily count as them being signed to the label and that they're making money. So like, and let's be honest, a lot of these record labels have investors from like Dubai or something, or from from some random place where they're literally able to have this huge, large, just disposable budget. So it's like there's this competition that just almost seems impossible to go against as an independent. Now, really think about it here. Independent labels literally don't even have the same amount of revenue share as Universal. That's one label. That's not counting these two other labels. This just one label. This is every single independent label to exist still can't have any competition with Universal Music Group. Think about that. Think about the amount of revenue and budget that you can have to just basically just blow everybody else out of the water. So it's like, so going back to my point of, should you just be, oh man, friggin', I'm just gonna be independent? Is it really like in your best interest to do that? And this is where leverage comes in. And I've talked about this. I talked about this in a couple streams ago, where I was talking about our music producers respected, and how I was basically saying leverage is your best friend in a lot of this. All right, my chat came off. what do you think is the most important step in order to get recognized in the beginning? There are a lot of steps, important ones. At the end of the day, there is no one main important step, but I'll give you a couple. One thing you can do, because there's just so many different ways. One way, for sure, is meeting these people who have this control inevitably with the music industry. Now, here's the thing: this can get very tricky. Is that, let's just say, you know somebody that knows somebody, and that's the thing, is that we can never understand how or what possible way we can know someone that knows someone, but that's usually how it goes. You just don't walk up to a label head and say, hey, like, check out my stuff. It's usually somebody that has already pretty much got their foot in the door, where you tell them, hey, like, it would be cool if you can, like, introduce me or make this happen or whatever. So this is the tricky part, is that as much as people are like, oh, gone are the days where labels would believe in the artist before they sign. I can definitely agree to an extent, where yes, labels at this point pretty much want the finished product, but they just want to make sure that their bet makes sense. But there are artists, label heads or A&Rs or people that are with, let's say, Universal, who can very much see the potential in the product itself, whether you are already pretty much packaged but not known. And so the artist, I keep saying the artist, the label head or the A&R will pretty much see that for themselves, and they'll be like, okay, I want to not make the full bet, but I basically want to see how I can go back to the label, because it's like, imagine it's just one person, it's an A&R. It's like, let's say, like an assistant, director for some one branch of the label. There's all different positions at these labels. So let's just say one of these guys sees and actually kind of believes in you. It's like, hey, like, this is actually some pretty good stuff, but I'm not gonna go back to my higher ups. I'm not gonna go to the CEO, or I'm not gonna go to these guys and say, hey, I found him, I got him. Like, no, they're not gonna do that. What they're gonna do is they're going to provide you some resources without contract, which, like I said, this is usually pretty, like, tricky and a little sticky. And I only know this because I've been around people time and time again where this has been kind of the case, where the bidding war kind of almost begins, where somebody who knows somebody, and they start to kind of like give you a little bit of their resources, very small amount, but they kind of like, introduce you to some PR, or they introduce you to some people that can kind of get you more on the road, or they introduce you to some other A&Rs that can get you in a collab to make you bigger as the artist. And they do that because they want to basically say, well, I helped you here, and you would probably more rather sign with us than, let's say, a Sony or a Warner, where they're gonna, where they haven't even shared a resource with you, because once you start to get bigger, once you start to get in the public eye, it's pretty much like, well, of course I'm going to sign with Universal. They helped me get more known. So, and this is the thing, is that, like, you kind of have to move in a way where it's not shiesty, and it's not like, oh, well, I'm just using you for your resources. Like, don't be that way, but just understand that sometimes people are willing to kind of like, put you in a position to win. But they usually do that just so that you can sign with them and make something happen. And again, it's very, very hard to not be, but that's how a lot of artists kind of get like their first shot. And that's why you hear so many horrible, like, horror stories about how artists just all of a sudden they just were so big, and you're like, whoa, like, this guy, and then he just disappears. And it's probably because there was some shiesty stuff that happened in the background, where they were working closely with a label, but they didn't really, like, stay loyal, or there's just the things that kind of like went wrong, with that relationship. And then now it's like, they're kind of like blacklisting them in a sense. Now that's one way of basically getting recognized, because again, like, there's so much competition that it's, how do you get recognized? And it's usually through these people. Now that's one way. Another way is basically is collaborating with artists that are signed with these labels. Because they've already crossed that threshold. They've already gotten past the fence where, they have the resources on deck. So what you're going to do is, because you are independent, because you're not with these people, you can basically collaborate with them and use those resources. Now, here's the thing. Here's where it's also difficult is that some of these labels will not always agree to that. Some of the labels will just be like, this artist is really not as known, so maybe, let's not put him on your album, or let's not put him on your single because he's not as known, or it's not going to generate as much revenue for us. And they usually want to go the route where it's going to generate the most revenue for the label. So if you're working with an independent artist and you're signed, it's not in their best interest to be like, oh yeah, absolutely, let's just have you collab with anybody. Let's collab with your buddy. Like, no. So unless like you have like some type of buzz going on, it's going to be a little harder for you to make that happen. But hey, you never really know. Like sometimes you just might be in the studio with one of these artists and they like just are so attached to the song and they sell it to the labels themselves and say, yo man, listen, like this song is crazy. It's big to me. Da da da. And I'm only saying this because this happened to me a couple times, where I've released something with Epic Records, with Zoe Dollars, and he was able to really sell the record to them and say, hey, like, this guy Ricky Remedy, like he's a big deal. So that's another way. And I think one more way of kind of like getting yourself recognized in the beginning is just, I don't know, like just finding some PR and just, having them, I love how this is like white. This is so crazy. Look at this. This is so cool. Anyways, so going the independent route is a matter of luck, unfortunately. And if it's not luck, it's a very long, slow climb to the top and to the basically getting to a point where you could really actually scream out, fuck the labels, I don't need them. Because I'll be completely honest, for every one person that's saying fuck the labels, I don't need them, there's about 300 people that, probably even more, I'd say 1,000. For every one person that's saying I'm successful without the labels, there's about 1,000 that are like, yeah, like this is really hard. Spread your seed everywhere because you never know who knows who. 100%, exactly. And that is why my sound, when it comes to the music that I produce, is pretty diverse. Just because all the way down to like this whole reggaeton thing, like how like people just, I just blew up. Like I gained hundreds and hundreds of followers off of me posting a fucking Latin track, not realizing like after me making future bass and trap and hip hop and pop music and all this different stuff, and like that wasn't received as well as me making Latin, and like now it's like there's a whole realm of opportunities that can just come from that, so that's actually why I'm so diverse, is because something just might work out, whether it be with my artist or with somebody else, where it's like, yo, something just happens and one of these labels really gravitate towards it and they do whatever they can to help. That's true. Also, I live in Paraguay, so it is extremely difficult to get my songs out of here. Yeah, I can definitely agree that like if you're not in the States, it's definitely harder. But there's a lot of branches of these labels that are out in like Europe and like South America and stuff. Like there's like Universal, I'm sure, South America, Warner South America, or like Sony Europe and Warner Europe and like stuff like that. Like so it's really in what your distribution is like, because at the end of the day, one thing that actually I can like completely agree with is start small, especially when it's with a major label. That's actually the cool thing, is that like there's like European distribution of these major labels that are a little bit more open to certain styles of music, or a little bit more open to making things happen. And it's actually very interesting. Like like there's some drum and bass tracks that have been releasing lately on major labels like Warner. Join every possible online community you can, 100%. Because I will tell you right now, and we're actually going to get into the publishing side of things in a second. Actually, let me go ahead and Google it and see top publishing companies in the US. The Big Five looks like. Oh no, music publishing, not not books. Universal Publishing, of course. BMG. Yeah, all right, let's open this in a new tab. Perfect. Yes. Actually, okay, Universal 17. So there's another good one. So yeah, we'll get to publishing now. But before I get into that, I just want to basically say, like, joining online communities and just really kind of being like, okay, here's a good example. What Timbaland is doing with his whole beat, what is it, Beat Club? Or like when he would stream, I don't know how often he streams nowadays, but you got people like Kenny Beats as well that stream, or people, some of these labels even, which they're actually very secretive about it, which is like, I think they're just trying to like have like a decent threshold, so they just don't have like a bunch of people just sending them trash. but sometimes these label A&Rs, they'll have their own stream, or they'll have a feedback stream, kind of like what I do, where you can have a feedback stream, or you can be in a feedback stream and you can give your stuff and you can play it, you know, you'll have a chance. And Timbaland is a good example of somebody who, like, you know, will listen through. Now that's just one way, but I can't tell you how many times I've been in writing sessions, major label writing sessions, like a Universal session, or like a, you know, not so much, it's like a parent, Universal being the parent company of another, of these record labels, where I'm in these writing sessions, or I'm in these, you know, these writing camps, and a lot of these people are from other countries. You know, they'll be from like Germany or something, or they'll be from Sweden, or they'll be like from Paraguay. You know, they'll be from different places, and I will tell you, they have the strongest accents. They'll be out of so many different places. So it's not like it's an impossible thing where every single person is American that is big in the music industry, that works in American music industry. You can find ways to really like get your foot in the door from the outside. And that's another thing, is that these people, if you got a good word, if you have what they are looking for, and people are putting in a good word for you, they will make sure you get your visa. They will make sure that they will get you over there. So you just really got to like find those resources, and like, you know, they're sometimes not very easy to find, but it's a rabbit hole. And the good thing about the rabbit hole is that once you find one thing, you find the next, you find the next, you find the next, you find the next, and it's just like, it really answers some questions for you. So in these writing camps, sometimes, and a lot of the time, they are also ran by music publishers. So here's the funny thing about like about this, is that, let me actually separate these two so you guys can kind of see what's going on here. Oh crap. Doing this with my trackpad. Here. Sorry guys. So okay, that's the best that I can do. So the funny thing is, you see Sony here, and Sony's here. You see Universal's here, and Universal's here. You see Warner is here, and you see Warner is here. So it's like, not only do they have a huge revenue share and a huge advantage in the competition of record sales and record label revenue, but they also have basically a huge like stake in this. Cobalt is the one that's actually like standing up, and I'm not really actually sure who Cobalt is owned by. But what is it for people here who, I'm sure some of you guys pretty much already know this, because if you're a producer, you probably know this, but there's a difference between record labels and publishing companies. Publishing companies are basically the record labels for music producers and songwriters. Record labels are basically just for the performing artists. So those are two completely different sources of revenue. They make money differently, they distribute money differently, they spend their money differently, and they do word up. So I actually almost had the chance of signing with BMG, but it didn't work out because I wasn't what they were looking for at the time. But just like I said, that they were able to provide resources to me even though I wasn't signed with them. They had me in rooms with a lot of their roster. You know, they put me, I think, for 2 weeks straight. They just had me in a bunch of writing sessions with their roster, kind of seeing how well I would work with them, which we worked well. I'm pretty sure they just really were looking for something very, very specific out of me. Which, you know, at the end of the day, like, you're gonna get a lot of no's. You know, you're gonna get rejected. But they have very, very talented songwriters. And that's another way as a producer to kind of get your foot in the door with a publisher. Now, this is a good way for me to kind of get started and get into my leverage talk. But let's just kind of get through this real quick. So, when artists, major label artists, like, get signed, they'll usually sign their publishing to the attributing publishing company. So if you're signing with Universal, well, you're probably going to sign your publishing over to Universal as well. And that is like kind of like almost a monopoly in a way. Like, it's just like, well, we're gonna own every single bit of your revenue. And that's the thing, is that, so when you have like a thing like TuneCore or like DistroKid that's taking care of your publishing, that is also basically the independent route. You know, because it's like, okay, well, they're gonna handle also, because they're your masters. Your master royalties are basically the record label royalties, and then your mechanical royalties, and I believe there's I don't know how I'm forgetting right now, but there's different royalties, but it's performance royalties. That's all, you know, through your publishing. So the record labels are gonna take absolutely every possible bit of money that they can. And they usually do that through, you know, the music in the record label and the publishing company. What up, Mastodon? So, as a music producer, this is a good way to leverage yourself. What you basically do is, if you want to get to a certain roster, if you want to get to a certain, type of artist or whatever, let's say that they're signed to Warner. Let's say they're signed to Sony. Let's say, for example, they're signed to Sony, and you want to get to an artist on the record label. I'm talking about not Sony Publishing, because by default they're probably going to be signed to Sony Publishing. But if they're signed to Sony, the record label, let's say, actually, let's do an example. Let's just kind of find Sony Records artists. So it'll probably just show up right here. So Michael Jackson was part of Sony. There you go. Let's say you want to get to Beyonce, right? Let's say you want to make a song for Beyonce. By default, I'm pretty sure that she's also signed her publishing over to Sony. So what you're going to do is you're going to work with her songwriters that are also most likely on Sony. So that's how you can get to an artist without having to go directly to the music, because the record labels don't really care for producers like that. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for artists to sign that have a good public figure, good public eye, and can generate a good amount of income for them. Because that's actually another reason why Twitch streamers and streamers that have a big, huge following, record labels will sign in a heartbeat, regardless of their talent, regardless of what they can provide musically. Because what they do provide is revenue. They provide a whole audience of people that if they say, hey, just buy my song just because I said so, and people are going to do it, well, the label says, well, sign it right up. So as a music producer or as a songwriter or as somebody who makes music and actually values music, going to the labels yourself and like having somebody that knows somebody in the label is really not that as valuable as going to the publishers of said label. So if you want to go to and work with a Beyonce, you're going to go to Sony. You're going to say, hey, I want to work with some of the people on your roster. I want to work with some of the people on your roster. You don't necessarily even have to sign with them. You don't even, and it's not like you're calling Sony and saying, hey guys, I really like Beyonce, so I'm going to work with, no, it just doesn't work that way. But you obviously have to do some networking, whether it be through Instagram, because just like Marco, who lives in Paraguay, you can, just go on Instagram and kind of find these people. And that's the cool thing, is that like you on these days, which is really cool, on Spotify, you can literally we'll just go and do it right now. Kind of give you guys a nice little look. Trying to, give a lot of info on this stream. Basically, we can go to Beyonce. and you can listen to, like, let's say her album, you know, and just be like, okay, which one of these songs do I think I have music similar to this? So let's say we'll just go to Energy featuring Beam.
On stage rocking out stir crazy.
Okay, I'm not gonna like play too much because I don't want to get in trouble and get, you know, flagged. You can go to show credits, and as you can see, there's a shit ton of writers. There's a whole lot of writers. Okay, so we got produced by Beyonce, Beam, Skrillex, Alcrez, and Nova Wave. But look at how many writers are there. So even funnier, quick little secret for y'all. A lot of the time with these huge big records, all right, bro, good seeing you. Good seeing you, Savior. I'm gonna get those stems from you and work on that record. But as you can see, there's a lot of writers here, and I would not be surprised if a majority of them are signed to Sony. Sent them. Bet. I'm gonna download them today. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna look these people up, check out their Instagram. Some of them might have, you know, 100,000 followers. Some of them might have 50,000 followers. Some of them might even just have 2,000. Some of them might even have a few hundred. You're probably likely gonna want to hit up the people with a few hundred. And not say, hey, I want to make a record with Beyonce, or hey, I really love that record you made with Beyonce. Just be like, hey, I really love the work that you do. I love, you know, so maybe even check out their, you know, the discography, see what else they've worked on, see what other music they've done, because maybe this song might be the one and only song that it's in this style compared to this. So you don't want to kind of go in the dark here. You want to actually kind of do a little bit of research and understand who you're working with. But like I said, it's very likely that these people are signed to Sony Publishing. So, you know, you can go ahead and work with one of these people, and then you have, you know, and because they're signed with Sony Publishing is going to push the records that these people make to the Sony roster, and the Sony, the people that are on their roster, the artists. So you being independent and not signed to the publishing company kind of almost gives you this leverage where it's like, okay, I can now I'm getting these resources given to me by getting your music pushed to these bigger artists, and guess what? You can now go to other artists, or I'm sorry, other songwriters that are signed to some of these other people, like Cobalt or Warner or BMG. So that is kind of how you really get your foot in the door. And I think that's like one of the best ways to get music over to major label artists. Now, here is the ultimate leverage. Here is how you, if you're a producer, but you're also considered an artist, let's say you make EDM music, or let's just say like how I just showed you guys my EP. It's not necessarily EDM, but it's definitely more of a production. It's production based, but it's still also like, you know, I don't even know how to really put it in words, but let's just say you're trying to go the route of an artist. Let's say Weathen, for example. Weathen is an artist who kind of makes like a bunch of different types of, but it's like most, you know, he'll make rap music, he'll make like more like feelsy kind of stuff. He makes pop music, you know, let's just put it that way. He makes pop music. So let's say you want to go that route. Well, this is where you have your ultimate leverage. You seek out a publishing deal or a decent publishing situation with any of these guys. Let's just say, for example, like Pulse is actually pretty cool. Let's just say Pulse is really into what you got going on, and you haven't signed to a record label yet. They really like your music. They're really into it. You work well with their roster. You've gotten records placed through them. You know, you're generating revenue for them. They're basically going to say, hey, you're doing well. You've got like a couple platinum records. You know, you got Grammy nominated. We're willing to sign you and give you an advance for, let's say, I don't know, let's say $300,000, which is actually pretty common if you have a few platinum records and you're Grammy nominated. It's actually pretty common. $300,000. So what you do is you make sure that you're smart with that $300,000. You make sure that you invest it And you also make sure that you that one, you invest it so that you can like continue to make money outside of music, but you reinvest it into the third party resources to basically get yourself put in this green category here of independent label or artists, where basically you are the label, and you can fund basically on a much smaller scale, but basically you can fund how you then get these guys to even care about you. Which is why I'm saying you don't always want to go the Russ route and say, fuck the labels, I don't need them. Wrong. You do need them. And you do want to not be so much in competition with them. You want to leverage them. That's why people like Drake, even though he makes good music, that's why certain artists are able to leverage, because they went a specific route that really benefited them without them having to be in so much competition. Professor Remedy dropping some serious knowledge right now. Yes. So basically, you invest. Let's say you make you get a $300,000 advance, through publishing. You invest 100,000 of it into, like, I don't know, stocks and real estate and whatever you want to double your money. You invest 100,000 of it into like your bank, just so that you can live, just so that you can, have some money throughout the year. And then you take the other 100 and you put it into third party record label resources, which is basically PR, but pretty much just PR, just good. Like you let's say you spend like upwards of $5,000 a month on some good PR, which is very decent. I think $5 to $10,000 a month. So if let's just say it's $5,000 a month. So that's about $60,000 put into PR, and let's say the other 40,000 you can kind of put more into, like, a budget of like doing a cool music video or a couple cool music videos, or however you want to spend the money. But it's important that you take at least that full 100,000 and really put it into your product throughout the year, to then gain, whether it be you need to solidify your brand, maybe make it look a little more professional, pay somebody to constantly give you photo shoots and good, stuff, just to make you look like the package, if you haven't already. Now let's say you already have the package, you already pretty much know how to market yourself, you have your brand in order. You're gonna put that 60 to 70K in PR gone, so you're left with 30 to 40K left. And this is just a hypothetical, but this is just kind of like, at every scale, it's the same thing. And let's say you take the 30 to 40K, and then now you're putting it into, let's say, music, more of the product itself. Now at this point, you've had this whole year where you're getting PR, you're getting interviews, you're in magazines, you're on Genius, you're on all these different places and resources. You're on these platforms where basically these labels have their eye on all the time, these major labels. And they're going to come to you and they're going to be like, hey, like, who's your label? Who are you signed to? Da, da, da. And you're going to be like, oh, I'm not signed at all. And so they're going to see like, wow, okay, this person already has some stuff going on. They have the potential to earn us revenue. So you've basically gone step one, get a publishing situation. So you get a nice advance for something. Step two, invest that publishing advance into gaining a public eye, into basically giving yourself a platform. And then step three, now you're leveraging the labels and you're basically saying, hey, well, let's figure something out. Let's, I'm already signed to this publishing or whatever it may be. And I'm earning this much or whatever it may be. I don't know. Like sometimes you don't really have to disclose like your revenue, but they can already pretty much just tell by, how public you really are. And so once you do that, then it's like, okay, now you can actually have a bidding war. Now because at the end of the day, it's like, it's not like only Warner is going to see you. It's not like only, Universal is going to see you. They're all going to pretty much see you at the same time. So at that point, that is really where you have leverage. And this is why leverage is extremely important in the music industry, because you have to understand that they are not looking for you. You have to just be there. You have to be like literally just visible to them on your own. And that is really like that's really kicking the door in. And that's how, you know, and here's another funny thing is that sometimes you don't even have to go the publishing route to fund your project. There's tons of artists, especially in the EDM space, that are making a good amount of revenue through their live shows and through performances, that they then use that to fuel and to, you know, use PR and to, like, you know, so but it's all the same thing. It's like you got to go step one, go earn your revenue without the major label, because then at that point, that's how they have far more leverage over you. That's why a lot of artists that sign and get like an advance or whatever, they don't really make as much back, or they don't have leverage of the label, or they can't release music whenever they want. They can't really go the path that really could potentially blow them up bigger than if they were to just sign right away and just be like, okay, yeah, like the label really helped me with it. No, like, you have to have leverage over them in order for them to even care to put their time into you. So that's why I say, yes, go with a major label, because then once they like actually respect and really like care about what you do, and you basically like put in their face, hey, I don't necessarily need you, but I could use you to then scale this up and we can all make money. We can all be happy. So at that point, you really have an advantage over a lot of the thousands and thousands and thousands of artists that they sign a year, because you basically did something that a lot of these artists didn't really do, or know how to do, or know what to do. So it's like, for me in my situation, as much as I would just love to go straight to the labels and say, hey, I'm Ricky and I have the potential to make you money. It's like, no. I don't want to have the potential. I want to already be doing it and show them, hey, look at this revenue I'm making. Look at this, look at these numbers. And that's why they're so obsessed with numbers, because they have to base their bet on something. That's just what it is. So, wow, that was a mouthful. Any questions or comments? Otherwise, I think I'm going to move on to the next thing. But that's just how it is, man. It seems that because labels' biggest priority is as much profit as possible, it makes it much more transparent for artists to build a plan around that, to not let themselves get screwed over. Absolutely. I guess that's pretty much just like a short way of saying what I was just basically saying right now. But it's a crazy world out there. But it's all very possible, you know. A lot of this is possible. Obviously, it's very important to like have a good product, but that's why there's so much music out there that's really actually not that good. That's you know, receiving a crazy play count or receiving an insane amount of, you know, just views and all that. It's just because, you know, they've already crossed. They're like, hey, like, you know, we've already did what we needed to do to even just get a little bit of a buzz. So, and which is crazy, man. Like, I'm telling you right now, the moment I receive some type of check or something that is of about $100,000 or more, it's over, y'all. I'm out of here. I'm gone, because I'm gonna know exactly what to do and how to leverage it, because it's like it really all comes down to just good PR. And I know a lot of good PR companies. It's just, you know, they're fucking expensive. They are expensive. Anyways, if you guys are in here right now, like this video. I've been kicking a lot of game. You guys can watch back if you want. If you just came in, there's a lot of info I'm giving out. Yeah, just hit a like, hit the like button. Let's try to get to 20 likes today. But yeah, man, major labels pretty much run this game, so we gotta kind of like, you know, we gotta concede a bit. But yeah, how does everybody feel about all this? Let's shout out to Xerxes. TuneCore was great, but way too expensive. I think they made it a little cheaper. I think they basically took the same route as DistroKid and just did a subscription. Basically, I think it's like monthly. instead of like per release. Lots of stuff. Yeah, it's a lot to digest. And like a lot of this is also pretty anecdotal as well, like where, you know, I've been in a lot of major label situations, major publishing situations, and which I'll be honest, I've been like kind of out of the loop for the most part a bit lately, but I definitely am just even having this talk right now, like I really should just kind of like go a little harder on it. But I've been really like focused on content as well, like as an artist, and just kind of like gain, because it's like I kind of want to also do it, excuse me, I also want to do it very organically as well, because it's like I've put $0 into, you know, boosting posts or like advertisement and all that. I put $0 into you know, getting my name out there, and it's doing a pretty decent job. I can only imagine if I were to put like $100 per post, I would probably do a little better. But you know, took a couple of music business classes, and they made sure to teach me very cautious about labels. However, I appreciate that you teach us to leverage our best options. Absolutely. No, here's the thing, is that people think that there's no such thing as a good record deal, and that's cap. Because I've been around some of the good ones, I've been around some of the absolutely horrible ones, and it's funny because the horrible ones are the ones where I knew they were horrible, and where like even I was offered some of the horrible ones, and it's like maybe it's just because I really paid attention, and maybe because I like was actually very cautious, I realized, okay, like this is not in my best interest. But I have been around some situations where they were absolutely great situations, and how they really use leverage. And it's probably because they had a good manager, or they had somebody who's already been in the game and like actually took the correct route of things and was like, no, I'm going to make sure that my client does not take the wrong way. But yeah, leverage is everything, because at the end of the day, it's like, it's like this with every industry, every business. You know, you want to provide value, you know, and value, unfortunately, to people who are really into music and creating the music, the value is actually not in the music, sadly. Now, is there potential where the music can be of value? Yes, but it's not the main. It's like, I'd say the percentage of that happening is very small. It's like 10% chance that you might have a song, or you might have some type of genre of music, or some style of music that is very forward thinking, but also very has a mass appeal to it. It's very, very difficult. And it's very unlikely that that's going to be the driving point of what's going to make a major label really want you. It really just comes down to what value do you provide, even outside of the music. Sometimes some people just have an amazing live show presence. You know, they're able to sell out 3,000, 4,000 cap rooms. So, you know, they're able to just be known on that side of things. And that's where sometimes the agency will, you know, an agency and a record label will kind of like have some type of partnership, which is like kind of rare. It doesn't really happen too often, but even then, it's just like, you know, there's revenue there, and like they know, like, okay, well, this person has the potential of, you know, just because an audience is everything. You know, that's like, it's the same thing when it comes to just like the live show circuit, where it's like you can have awesome music, but if you can't pull a crowd, we're not putting you on this show. We're not putting you on this lineup. You need to bring us the value that we're seeking. And for, you know, for event companies and festival companies and owners, they just want people. They want people to show up. You can have 500,000 followers, but still not have people pull up to your shows. There's certain metrics that just sometimes don't reflect like how the reality of the value you bring. And that's where you really have to create that value. Like, really, what is the value you want to create? Which is why I'm saying one of the routes you can take is through publishing companies where you are a massively talented producer, or you're a very useful producer. Maybe your work ethic is out of this world and you can pump out record after record after record. So if that's really where you truly bring value, shit, hit up these labels, man. I'm sorry, hit up these publishers, or go to the publishers roster and check out some of their writers, check out some of their other producers, collaborate with them, and really bring value, so that then you can leverage yourself by saying, "Hey, well, I've got a couple platinum placements without the help of you guys already. I did it without y'all. So now with you guys, imagine how it'll happen." SD Waterboys are popping off and finally starting to get those major label agency deals. Where do you think they're headed in 5+ years down the road? Musically, I can't say I know. But I can definitely say, as far as like the live circuit of things, they're being set up for success for sure. You know, they've already got really big people behind them, and just like making it happen. But 5 years down the line, I think it'll just be another RL grind, you know, where RL kind of just really established himself, and then that was pretty much it for him. You know, he's been coasting. You know, I'm not gonna say he has gotten any bigger than he always was, like than he's been. You know, if you really look back on 5 years ago, 6 years ago, like he was still just as big as he is today. He pulled the same amount of, so he kind of like he's on this coast, and I really think it has to do with the music and the content. Unless they deliberately start to make more mainstream stuff, then that's what's gonna put them like more like on a mainstream level, where they're playing like, you know, stadiums, like a Bad Bunny like kind of thing. But I can't imagine they're gonna want to steer away from what their true sound is, the same way that RL does it. You know, RL really stays on his sound, and his sound is kind of on this really cool like a fence of like, you know, underground, but also kind of has like a mass appeal a bit. But I don't think he moves any further than that. So by the way, if you guys are in here, hit that like button. Shout out to everybody that's been in the stream. Sable Valley really locked down that underground vibe with their music and branding. Absolutely. So I think that's kind of like where I see them. I don't see any I don't see them being any bigger than where our grime is at, unless they deliberately change their sound to be more mainstream appeal. But you know, and again, that's up to them as an artist if they really want to like keep getting bigger. But there's a wall that you're gonna hit, you know, that. But does that mean that Earl Grime isn't over here like almost selling out the, you know, what is it, the Forum, which is like a 12,000 cap room? Like, you know, like at the end of the day, like you're gonna have awesome diehard fans, very supportive fans. You're gonna have a large fan base, but your sound and how you want to move forward. And for me, if I'm being completely honest, you know, I'm gonna if I'm being honest, I'm gonna like really just go the route where I want to make mainstream music. I've always wanted to make mainstream music. So but that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna like, you know, have outlets of me being able to do more of the underground stuff. Just saw him at the Forum. Absolutely amazing show. Yeah, I wish I could have been there. So yeah, I know there's a couple things that I wanted to cover. I just kind of went like on a big rant, and then kind of just forgot like the organization of it all. I should have wrote it all down. But how's everybody doing, man? How's everybody doing? How was everybody's Halloween weekend? It was a long one. It was a very long weekend. Talk to me. What did you guys do? While I try to remember what my next subject was. Amazing weekend. How was yours? It was good. Just super busy. I shot for the mayor of Miami. I was doing video work for her. Pretty cool. Dressed as Neo from The Matrix. That's fire. That's my favorite movie of all time, by the way. I might have landed a collab with Timothy Turbo. Oh, Delayed Turbo Hype. Nice. Hell yeah. Worked on a Halloween video. Awesome. Like a music video? Or just like a video in general? Ah, my ears. But yeah, so it's a meme. Nice. Hoping to get feedback on the whip on Thursday. Yeah, I got you. So yeah, I mean, if you guys, damn, this, bro, look at Beyonce's numbers by G. This is crazy, and this is only on Spotify. This is not including Tidal or Apple Music. Let me do some math here, man. Do the math. All right, so 45 million plus 31 million plus 25 million plus 23 million plus 31 million plus 35 million plus 28 million plus 35 again, 35 plus 33 plus 42 plus 226 plus 53 plus 161 plus 86 plus 43 plus 44 plus. Yo, she's almost there. She's almost there. She has 941 million plays on this album. On Spotify only. Only on Spotify. So how many streams, or no, yeah, how many streams, oh no, how much does 1 million plays on Spotify pay? Expected to earn between 1,000 and 8,000. That's a great number, thanks. Well, let's just say 3,000, all right? So, times... Wait, fuck. Times 3,000. So she generated about $2.8 million just off of streams. Yeah. So she made about 2.8 million. Wait. Right? Yeah. Because it was like 945 million times 3,000. Yeah. So she made 2.8 million. And that's only on Spotify. We're not including Tidal or any or YouTube and like other streaming and Apple Music. So if you really think about it, man, some artists, you know, they just have leverage, man. But think about it. She also didn't release for a long time. Let's actually see how many plays already Rihanna has on this new song. So she has 20 million plays already. And that's just over the weekend. 1 billion. Man, it's crazy, man. These numbers are wild. Oh, man. On Qobuz, lossless streaming and purchases. Qobuz, how do you say it? Qobuz. Honestly, bro, I don't think people, and like, you know, you're an exception. You know, you're a powerful exception. You're like probably like 5% of people, but people don't give a shit about lossless audio. I'm being completely honest. People will listen to a really, really shitty like 96 kilobytes per second like stream of their favorite song because it's just their favorite song. People really don't care. you're like definitely an exception. All right. Well, I'm having trouble remembering like my other point that I was going to make about today's discussion, but maybe I'll remember. But I think I'm just going to cook something up. Cook up a song. Damn, I didn't even have my laptop charging. Also, it's insanely good for archiving since there's no generally lost transcodes. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, if you're people listen to music from their cell phone speakers, they really don't care. Yeah, man. It's actually hilarious. Like, I'll like make a song that like I think the mix is absolutely great, but if it sounds crappy on the phone, like I literally will like change the mix just for that, because people, for the most part, hear it off of just their phone speakers. You know, when they're scrolling through Instagram or when they're scrolling or on TikTok or whatever, they hear it through there. All right, let me actually show you guys some of these Patreon loops. Doo-doo-doo. Doom. Okay, there we go. So this is actually these you know, these loops are kind of all over the place. You know, you got different vibes. If I can get it to sound good on them, it means the mix is tight. Yeah, absolutely. So this kit, month 3, which month 4 will be up in a few days. Just I'm like about halfway there, finishing them. Just some cool synths, a couple little effects. Maybe I might put a couple more snares up there. You know, snare god over here. But yeah, these drum loops. You know, if I'm being honest, these loops are really just more for like kind of just helping you guys with like drum pattern ideas, or like just like kind of like get like if you have like a synth or you have like a pattern or something, or maybe like a melody and you just want to kind of just like have something on top of it just in the meantime as a placeholder, or it can just inspire you. I mean, I never really thought that drum loops really mattered until I had a couple lessons, or I had a couple one-on-one sessions, and people were like, yo, like I remember I used this on this and I used this on that. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you know, I guess I'll, you know, make some more of them. So these are just kind of, you know, there's some house loops, there's some rap, like trap, like kind of rap loops. I even put a drill loop in there. There's like a pop loop. Some of them actually I had from like some remixes I had already made. Some of them I made from scratch. Even a couple drum and bass loops. Ricky, I'm planning on changing to a PC to work more in my music. I understand I need a great CPU. Is that correct? Yes, absolutely. You need a good CPU and some decent memory. But yeah, CPU is pretty much the name of the game when it comes to music production. If you're doing any kind of visual stuff, that's where you're going to need a GPU. But if you're going to get a PC to work in your music, I mean, I recommend just getting a laptop, you know, like a good laptop, just so that you can, you know, go around and make music. It's really good to be able to make music like mobile, no visuals, just music. Yeah, like try to get yourself a laptop. You know, there's a lot of good laptops up there with really, really decent PC power, you know. So by the way, shout out to everybody liking the video. We're at 15 likes. If we can get to 20 likes today, man, I'll be a happy camper. Liking is free. You know, I don't ask for any donations or anything. Just, you know, that's it. Fast storage too, absolutely. Yeah, you want a nice, you know, what up, Sinatra? Yeah, you definitely want something that works fast, because sometimes I'll have, you know, also a situation where like I'll have like a external drive that's pretty slow, and yeah, it takes a while. Artificial sky, dang. But yeah, let me show you guys some of these, you know, kits. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So this is one. Very rap, trap. You know, put whatever you want on it, whatever melody. Because sometimes maybe if you're trying to come up with a melody, you know, you can do something like that, you know? And it can help you reference like a mix too, you know, if you want to like kind of get your drums to bang a little more or whatever, like, you know, you can, it's a good reference. I think there's some pretty decent use from this, you know. This is another one. Oop, I gotta make sure. Some banging drums for y'all. Let's see, we got another one here. Yeah, it's just some cool drums. Okay, and then we got another one here. You know, something like that. I'm a little slower. And here comes the house loops. Yep, house loops are coming in. It's like tech house kind of. And then we got another one here. A little funkier. See, we got another one here. Is that what it just? Yeah. Yeah, kind of got a swing to it. And we got this one. This one's kind of like a bit of a like Kaytranada kind of a bit. Like. All done. Yeah, got that. This one's like a techno kind of like really like aggressive like techno house. You know, got that. I think this one's drill. I think so. Oh no, this is actually no, this is some like UK garage break beat kind of. This one's actually from the Sierra remix. Yeah, and then we got this one. The unfortunate thing is I left the tail on all these. But, you know. Classic Ricky, letting people use stuff from his own tracks. Absolutely. Yeah, see, I left the tail on this like a dummy. Yeah, some like drum and bass. It's another, I think there's another drum and bass. Oh no, this is the drill one. Yeah. I was feeling you. this one is like a pop. Oh yeah, I think this is from the Post Malone thing I did. Some cool like pop. And then this one is also a pop. I think this is from the Finn. Yeah. Yeah, some like 80s kind of style. And then these are from some IDs that I think this one's from. Yeah, this one's from the Nelly Furtado one. And this one's from one of my other IDs. But yeah, those are the drum loops, guys. So get on the Patreon and download that thing. Who was your favorite artist to collab with? That's actually a very difficult question. That's really difficult, man. Damn, how do I answer this? Oh man, I really gotta like go back and like think about. Damn, who was my favorite? This is tough, man. Can't really think of an answer right now because there's just so many. Maybe Bro Safari. I don't know. Damn, there's just so many, man. I don't even know. Every experience has been so different and like so unique in their own way. And I'm just trying to think. Was expecting to hear Perp. Perp was good. He's definitely up there for sure. Maybe Perp, but I still feel like there's something better out there that I'm just not remembering right now. All right, well. So yeah, I'm gonna basically end the stream in about 25 minutes so that I can make some content. But yeah, in the meantime, I'm gonna work on something. Let's see. The Winter Melodies pack is open. Why is it open? The thing about this mouse though is that like like if you hold down the button, it like lets go of it, and it's kind of annoying. No, that's not what I wanted. All right, let's do you usually use loops from other artists? No. Unless like a producer like wants to send me something for us to collab on, then yeah, of course, but I usually will just use my own loops. Here, let's bring this one up. All right, what is that? That sounds like it's about 3 cents. No, no, no. Hit the tempo. All right, and that's like I think what 4. there like an extra tail on? Was it like already like that? All right, let's see what we can do here. This mouse is so horrible. All right. Trap beat today, guys. There's something about like the way that like the third, like there's like, you know, fourth step, third step. Something about the third step, the hi-hat rolls just like work way better. I always try the fourth, but it just doesn't hit the way I want. Today is 11122. kick in there. This one? Oh yeah, that's loud. Discord notification type beat. It's Rare's favorite type of beat. Working with a sub or two. I'm just off of headphones right now. Probably can't tell because of my hair, but I'm just using headphones. I'm sure if I had a sub, I would be shaking the entire house right now. Add in my signature little effect sound that I be putting on my shit. well, you know, just a quick one. Little quick one. How much was that? That was 26 minutes. All right, or something like that. But yeah, so let me add my A Ricky, and then I think we'll call it a stream, guys. No 20 likes today, but hey, you know, can't always win. If you guys came in here, haven't liked the video already, like it on the way out. Some, you know, some love.
Hey Rick. Hey Rick.
Hey Ricky.
Hey Ricky. Hey Ricky.
Yes, I shall see you Thursday for the feedbacks.
Hey Ricky. Hey Ricky.
I don't know why all of a sudden it sounds more clipped than it just was before.
Hey Ricky.
Oh man, I haven't made a beat in a while. Been so busy with other shit. All right, well, shout out to everybody who came in the stream. Lots of good info today. I know there's a lot of things that I missed, but you know, I think I covered a decent amount of the stuff I wanted to talk about. There's so many things I hadn't really mentioned, but maybe we can do a part 2. Do part 2 next week. But yeah, if you haven't already, like the video on the way out. I really appreciate everybody's time. It means a lot that people even come through and do this with me. Honestly, I don't even know why you guys even bother, but hey, I must be doing something right. But yeah, I'll see you guys Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing a community stream. I'll be doing the feedbacks as usual. Yeah, I'll see you guys soon. So much love. Later.